What's up, folks? Michael Grubb, Evolve Ministry. I haven't been around for a little while. I think there's probably a few of you that noticed that by now. But even if you didn't, I haven't been around for a while. So, nonetheless, I have been doing a lot of photography work, a lot of videography work. I've been doing it for companies. Also been doing it, for private work, etc., etc. Whatever. Whoever gets in contact with me and hires me, that's kind of what I've been doing. I've also stepped away from doing videos for a few other reasons. One of those reasons is my interest in the world of metaphysics has been kind of declining, and there's a lot of reasons for that. One of the reasons, it's a big one too, which I'd love to discuss, which is there's a lot of people out there who are getting involved in, universal mastery, formerly called self-mastery, what I believe to be for the wrong purposes. And the wrong purposes are, of course, trying to gain power, empower oneself. I get people who contact me all the time, and this is one of the more tiring things. I get people who contact me, some of them want to compare, some of them want to compete, some of them love to brag. I get tons of people who will contact me and tell me the most outlandish things. Of course, they never want to provide any proof, but they want me to believe that they can fly, that somehow they're able to split atoms, that they were able to bring the sun out at midnight and put it up into the sky. All sorts of absolutely insane things. And again, stuff that they don't want to prove. Now, a lot of people believe that because I do what I do, that I must be somehow prone towards flights of fancy or outrageous belief systems that I'm going to be willing to accept any and every story that someone feeds to me. And so there's a lot of people that, like I said, they contact me and they'll say all sorts of things. And so they're thinking in their heads that because I do what I do, that I'm going to naturally believe that, they're best friends with the Sasquatch, or they saw a unicorn last night hopping through the meadows. So it's been quite a few things, one after the next. And when I get the people who contact me and they're wanting to compete, or they're wanting to tell me all these amazing things that they do, but again, they don't want to prove it, it absolutely blows my mind. Not long ago I had a guy, obviously he'd been watching too many episodes of Heroes or something, and he was telling me that he could absorb people's powers, and that all he had to do was touch them and then their energy or their abilities transferred into him. And then he was able to take that and then do it to their ability, and I'm like, well, that's totally what Siler could do. I had other people who were telling me that, they could literally shoot lasers out of their eyes or blast holes into walls. And so after a while, you get these sort of people who are contacting you and saying all sorts of things. You start to really understand that either A, they're pulling your leg, okay, which is an all-out lie. B, they're mentally ill, okay? And trust me, given what I do and given what I know that there are some amazing things that can be done out there. I truly do. But I take everything from a scientific perspective, okay? I'm not doing all this stuff from a frame of reference of some new age abstract perspective. I do things that I know that have base in the very physical world that we live in. So whether we consider it to be the metaphysical, the spiritual, all these things are combined, which was the very thing that I was trying to prove when I first started this, is that people could access the world of the metaphysical right here in the physical, because one is not really separate from the other. So I'm very well aware that some really amazing things can happen. I myself have tapped into some incredible stuff, and I don't post, or what I'm actually trying to say is, I don't talk about things that I cannot prove, or I don't post things that I cannot provide evidence or tangibility for. So this is one of the reasons why you don't hear me talk about all of the other things that I have either broken through or not broken through to. I keep that to myself or to some of my closer students who have trained under me. You know, there's students who have trained under me that have seen things that has never been posted on the internet. That's all there is to it. And there's a lot of things that it would be very stupid for me to post on the internet simply because of the amount of attention that I used to get from the military. That attention has dropped, so things have basically returned back to normal in my life. But for a good period of time in my life, I had some serious military presence around me. Okay, so I've even got footage of it on my YouTube page where, you know, helicopters literally, and we're talking about military choppers, black ops, would follow me from one location to the next. They would come out when I would teach groups of students and literally spotlight us, and they would do a whole bunch of things, okay? And then I had a couple of things that they did where they actually showed some severe aggression, okay? So one of the reasons why I post only a certain amount of content on YouTube is so that it doesn't attract a whole bunch of attention, negative attention, towards my direction. Now, I still get the negative attention when it comes to trolls or people who just want to attack for no reason whatsoever. But those people are neither here nor there. They're very miserable in their lives. And that's what they do to entertain themselves, literally. So far be it from me to take that fun out of their lives. This whole thing that I've been doing was initially based upon sharing with others the idea that they can evolve, that they can break through, that and it's not just the element of breaking through, but being able to do what we do is not based around abilities more so as it is based around being able to create your life how you choose. What we do is we're training people how to be self-sufficient and being able to basically harmonize with nature and create certain effects. It allows you to also be able to recreate how you choose to live your life. The reason why I got into this whole thing in the first place was to basically prove to myself that God existed. That's what it was all about. And when I started it, I did all this for free. I did it for free for, I think, about 5 years. So I taught people for free. People would come out from all over the place, and I taught them in person for free. And then I even taught stuff on the internet for free. But what ended up happening was during that 5 years is it started to become, I couldn't sustain it anymore. It was no longer self-sustaining whatsoever. I was paying more money out to get better technology. I was paying money to take care of bills, and then I was also spending my own money for when people came out. You know, I spent money on my own gas. I would buy them food. I'd buy them refreshments. And so it became a situation where it was just no longer palatable for me to continue doing it, and then for me to be able to, you know, take care of myself. At one point I was getting ready to lose my home. I wasn't able to pay my bills, etc., etc., etc. So I had to continue to do this in a way to where I could earn money, you know, have an income, because I was doing it on my side time while working full time as a security officer for the city of Bloomington. And so it wasn't a situation that I could continue to keep going. So this is the reason why I ended up having to start charging money. So basically, as time passed, I started having to come up and develop new ways in order to continue to move forward. Well, then I started coming across, like I said, I had the military that served at one point as an obstacle. Then money became an obstacle. Then trying to keep answering all the questions on YouTube, on Facebook, on multiple sites, okay? That was becoming such a full-time job. And for those of you who have checked my YouTube page, typically I try to answer everyone, every single person who has a question, but some of those videos now have so many views that there is no way to keep up with that. There's no way to answer every single question, but almost on all of my new videos that I post, that's what I try to do. And so that becomes a job in of itself. That's a lot of typing, that's a lot of thought, and that's a lot of effort in, making the videos, etc., etc., etc. So, once you get to the point where you're doing all of those things and just trying to maintain, you start to realize that it's one of those things that you're not going to be able to sustain for very long. And so, like I said, what I tried to do was create Evolve Ministry in a way that people could basically go to the site, run through everything, run through all the lessons and stuff on their own steam, even though some of those are timed lessons, and they're timed lessons for a reason. But I wanted to provide the teaching in a way that it made it easy for them to go through it and do it themselves, which would rely very little on my having to contribute, to having to answer questions or whatnot. I made it so that the questions basically answered themselves. Then I got to the point where, I'm trying to post video after video after video, trying to keep track with all of the questions. And then, like I said, I start just experiencing some of the most interesting of people. There's a lot of people out there with a lot of huge imaginations. And as I stated before, I'm very aware that amazing things do happen in the world. I've been a part of some insane stuff. Some stuff that almost no one would ever believe. But then again, I'm not a person that goes out there and tries to tell those sort of stories and then try to force you guys to believe such stories. Anything that I post where the action is happening direct. You get to watch it, you get to experience it, you get to see it through your own eyes. And when you have to deal with a lot of people that come out and I have to train them firsthand, that's one thing, and some of those people come out and they have some really crazy stories that they like to tell. And so I'm like, well, we're here right now, go ahead and prove that to me, show it to me. Never had a person actually prove anything to me that blew my mind. It's never happened. And the types of comments that I get on YouTube, like I said, I really could care less about the trolling comments anymore. I still like to address those people, and I like to actually engage with those people sometimes because it's important that someone actually answer them to make them understand that some of the questions that they're asking and the way that they're coming across is just ridiculous. But when I'm dealing with the flip side of this other side of the equation where people are intentionally or non-intentionally creating things, creating stories, and you realize that you're probably dealing with a person that's not playing with a full deck, okay, that becomes a whole situation altogether. And trying to talk with each and every one of those individuals while placating their imaginations and their minds in a way that doesn't trigger them to get angry, that becomes a whole different issue. And I'm not a person who suffers the world of the abstract with people too much. I usually either say, okay, that's amazing, demonstrate that for me, send me a video, or I just cut off all contact with them. But the amount that has been coming recently has just been astronomical. And so what I did was I stepped away for a while and just decided to really focus on my photography and videography. That being said, I am going to be making more videos. I am going to be stepping in to the sphere again. But I figured that it was probably a good idea to make this video to let those of you out there who truly love the content and who are actually practicing this because they want to learn it, letting you know that I'm not gone, I'm just working on other things. And since there's over 800 some videos, okay, there is not a lack of content on that channel. I guarantee you, no matter what you've watched, there's something in there that you haven't watched. Okay, that channel has over 800 some videos, close to 900. Scroll around, look around. I guarantee you'll find something. A lot of it has roughly the same content. I have stuff that has Aerokinesis, of course, telekinesis, pyrokinesis, atmokinesis. None of those kinetics actually exist. It's all magnetism. But the reason why I even say those things and then tag my videos is because those are the terms that people recognize. But there's something in there for basically every last interest when it comes to the world of metaphysics. So, you know, look through it, scroll through it. I'm not going anywhere. I haven't left. But I can tell you that, again, like I said, my interest is going. And even though my interest is falling, it doesn't mean that I'm going to abandon what I do. It just means that I'm working hard on other things, and I have to, you know, try to bring income in so I can continue to foster this. So the money that I am making now doing photography and other things, that's going to be the very thing that is used to continue bringing this sort of stuff to you and trying to get more and more technology to make it really pop. So that way you guys can see it, it's very clear, it's very concise, and it's demonstrated well. Alright? Michael Grubb, Evolve Ministry.